Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu addressing his country on primetime TV right now in what's being described as dramatic news regarding the nuclear agreement with Iran. Oil is spiking, as you see right there, by about a little less than 2%. NBC News' Hans Nichols joins us now live from the Pentagon. Hans.
Well, what we're seeing here is Benjamin Netanyahu making a very public case on how and why Iran has been lying on their nuclear program since that 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. That's the Iran deal that we hear so much criticism about from President Trump. Now, I think the interesting thing we have going on here is that he's trying to present facts. One question we have, though, Netanyahu is saying these are newly acquired documents, and he's shown reefs of documents, a bunch of binders, some CDs. The question is, when were those acquired, and what's the date on them? Because what you're seeing here is an effort from the Israelis to make a public case for President Trump. Now, let's listen. I don't know if we have any sound bites in there yet, guys, but let's listen in.
Document. We've known for years that Iran had a secret nuclear weapons program called Project Ahmad. We can now prove that Project Ahmad was a comprehensive program to design, build, and test nuclear weapons. We can also prove that Iran is secretly storing Project Ahmad material to use at a time of its choice to develop nuclear weapons.
Guys, there are two parts of crucial information in terms of timing. Namely, when were these documents acquired, but also when you think of what's happening in the U.S. administration. You had Mike Pompeo, the newly minted Secretary of State. He was in Israel just over the weekend. He's making it very clear that unless this deal, this 2015 deal, is changed, the U.S. is going to pull out. Netanyahu's presentation today makes it easier for Trump to pull out on May the 12th and harder for the Europeans to defend it. You have to also think about the other aspects of what Trump wants. He wants to expand the deal. He's open to staying in it as long as the deal is more expansive. What Netanyahu is really doing is criticizing the core deal, not the four pillars that we heard about from Emmanuel Macron when he was here at the White House last week. So we're going to watch for a reaction both from the State Department. We have Pompeo is addressing folks at the State Department in just a little bit, and then crucially here at the Pentagon as well as the White House, where we may be hearing from President Trump on this subject when he has a press conference later today. Guys?
But politics aside, Hans, I mean, if the conclusion here, and it's based on facts, is that Iran lied about its nuclear program and is not compliant, and President Trump decides to pull out of it, then what? What does that look like? All those barrels of oil are taken off the market? What can we expect to happen next?
I think in the short term you have an argument about the facts, the chain of custody, and the intelligence, and whether or not this intelligence is sufficient enough, this evidence that Netanyahu is presenting is sufficient enough for the Europeans. Now, whether or not, because the Europeans may need a little bit more intelligence than what the Israelis are willing to present. You could make a case that this makes it easier to make a deal to increase the sanctions and increase the deal and strengthen it, broaden it out a little bit more to those four pillars, and that is have some sort of language in there on what you do about ballistic missiles. In the short term, though, I think we're going to see quite a bit of volatility, in large part because we don't have reaction from the Europeans, and we also don't have reaction from the Trump administration, but we could be getting that shortly.